Have you noticed how expensive bread has become in 2026? Some grocery stores are charging $6, even $7 for a single loaf of decent bread. And if you've got a family buying fresh bread every week, you could easily be spending over $1,500 a year without even realizing it. But here's the crazy part. One affordable bread maker can slash that cost dramatically while giving you fresher, healthier bread right at home. And after testing some of the most popular bread machines this year, we found one model that honestly makes almost no sense for the price, because it performs like machines that cost 2 or even 3 times more. Today, we're counting down the best budget bread makers of 2026, from cheap beginner options all the way up to premium luxury machines, so you can decide which one is actually worth your money, and which ones are mostly overpriced hype. And trust me, before you spend $300 on a fancy bread maker, you need to see our #1 pick first. Let's quickly talk numbers, because this is where bread makers become ridiculously underrated. Right now, a quality loaf of store-bought bread averages around $6 in many areas. Some artisan or gluten-free loaves are even more expensive. Now imagine a family going through just 4 or 5 loaves per week. That adds up to roughly $30 every week. Over $120 every month, around $1,500 per year on bread alone. Now compare that to homemade bread. Making bread at home usually costs somewhere between 60 cents and $1.25 per loaf, depending on ingredients. That means your yearly bread cost could drop to around $150 to $250 total. So instead of spending $1,500 every year, you're potentially saving over $1,000 annually with one appliance sitting on your kitchen counter. And unlike trendy kitchen gadgets that end up collecting dust after 2 weeks, bread makers are one of those rare appliances that can literally pay for themselves within a month or two. So after testing dozens of loaves for consistency, texture, crust quality, ease of use, noise levels, and overall value, here are the best bread makers you can buy in 2026. Number 5. Hamilton Beach 29882 Budget Minimum. Starting off at number 5, we have the Hamilton Beach 29882. And honestly, this is the machine for people who simply want the cheapest possible entry point into homemade bread. At around $75, it's definitely affordable, and for beginners, that price is hard to ignore. You get 12 baking programs, multiple loaf sizes, gluten-free settings, delay timer features, and surprisingly simple controls. Now, the good news is, it actually works pretty well for basic bread recipes. If you just want simple sandwich bread once or twice a week, this machine gets the job done without requiring a huge investment. But here's the issue. Consistency is kind of all over the place. Some loaves come out fluffy and evenly baked, while others end up slightly dense or uneven depending on the recipe. During testing, crust quality especially felt inconsistent compared to the higher-ranked machines on this list. And that's ultimately why it lands at number 5. It's not bad, it's just limited. Bread quality sits around a 6 out of 10 overall, which is perfectly fine for casual users, but once you compare it side by side with better machines, you start noticing the difference pretty quickly. Best for absolute beginners, tight budgets, people testing whether bread making is for them. Downside, inconsistent baking quality, basic feature set, feels less premium overall. Still, for $75, it can pay for itself incredibly fast if you regularly buy bread. Number 4. Panasonic SD-YD250 Quality Alternative. Coming in at number 4 is the Panasonic SD-YD250. Now this machine immediately feels like a step up in quality. Panasonic has always been known for reliable kitchen appliances, and you can definitely feel that Japanese engineering here. The bread texture is softer, the rise is more consistent, and the machine overall feels more refined than cheaper competitors. One feature people really love is the automatic yeast dispenser. Instead of manually timing ingredients perfectly, the machine handles that process automatically, which helps create more consistent results. You also get 13 baking programs, larger 2.5-pound loaf capacity, reliable performance, better long-term durability. And honestly, the bread quality here is excellent, probably around an 8.5 out of 10 overall. The problem? The value just isn't as strong anymore in 2026. At around $180, you're paying nearly double the price of the Neretva, for bread that's only slightly better in some situations. And once we compared them side by side, the difference honestly wasn't dramatic enough to justify spending that much extra money for most people. Best 4. Families making large loaves. People prioritizing reliability. Long-term users. Downside. Expensive for the feature set. Fewer programs than cheaper competitors. Not enough improvement over budget winners. Number 3. Cuisinart CBK 110, mid-range option. At number 3, we've got the Cuisinart CBK 110. This is one of the most popular bread makers online right now, and after testing it, it's easy to understand why. The biggest thing you notice immediately is how compact and quiet it is. Unlike some bulky machines that dominate your counter space, this one feels much cleaner and easier to live with day to day. It also comes with 12 baking programs, multiple crust settings, recipe book included, reliable performance, easy controls. And to be fair, the bread quality is genuinely very good. Soft interior, nice crust, consistent results. For many people, this machine would probably feel premium enough already. But there's one massive problem. You're paying more money for fewer features compared to the Neretva. That's what makes this machine difficult to recommend as the best value pick. The Neretva gives you more programs, dual heaters, ceramic coating, better feature variety, while costing significantly less. So while the Cuisinart is definitely a solid bread maker, part of the price here feels like you're paying for the brand name. Best 4. Small kitchens, quiet operation, people who trust established brands. Downside. More expensive than better value competitors. Fewer advanced features. Not the strongest ROI.
Number 2. Zojirushi BB-PDC20 Virtuoso Plus, Premium Option. At number 2 is the legendary Zojirushi Virtuoso Plus, and this machine absolutely deserves its reputation. If pure bread quality is your only priority, this is probably the best bread maker on the market. The dual kneading blades create incredible dough consistency. The lid heater improves even baking, and overall, the machine produces bakery-level bread that honestly looks professional. The crust quality especially was insanely impressive during testing. This thing makes beautiful bread. You also get premium Japanese engineering, extremely consistent performance, strong durability, excellent specialty bread results. Bread quality here easily reaches around a 9.5 out of 10. But here's why it's not number 1. The price. At roughly $350, this machine costs nearly 4 times more than the Neretva. And while yes, the bread is slightly better, it's not $260 better for 99% of people. That's the key issue. Most families simply want fresh homemade bread while saving money. And once you start spending luxury appliance money, the financial savings take much longer to justify. In fact, based on average bread savings, this machine can take over 6 months to fully pay for itself. That's a huge difference compared to our winner. Best for bread perfectionists, serious baking enthusiasts, luxury appliance buyers. Downside, extremely expensive. Massive overkill for casual users. Weak value compared to budget winners. Number 1. Neretva 20-in-1, Best Budget Bread Maker 2026. And finally, the best budget bread maker of 2026 is the Neretva 20-in-1. Honestly, this machine shocked us, because when you first see the price, around $89, you expect compromises everywhere. But somehow, Neretva managed to create a bread maker that performs dangerously close to premium machines while costing a fraction of the price. And that's what makes this thing such a ridiculous value. First off, you get 20 baking programs. That's more than several machines costing 2 or 3 times more. Whether you want basic white bread, whole wheat, French bread, dough, jam, gluten-free recipes, sweetbreads, even yogurt modes, it's all here. But the real surprise was the bread quality. During testing, this machine consistently produced soft interiors, solid crust texture, and very balanced baking overall. Bread quality landed around a 9 out of 10, which honestly puts it incredibly close to the Zojirushi for everyday users. And unless you're some hardcore bread expert comparing loaves side by side under a microscope, most people probably won't notice a major difference. Another huge advantage is the ceramic bread pan. A lot of competitors still use standard non-stick coatings, but the ceramic interior here feels healthier, more premium, and easier to clean over time. Then you add the dual heating system. That's usually a feature reserved for much more expensive machines because it helps create more even baking and better crust consistency. And this is where the value becomes almost unfair. Compared to the Cuisinart, more programs, better features, lower price. Compared to the Panasonic, similar quality, half the price. Compared to the Zojirushi, around 90% of the bread quality, less than 1/3 the cost. That's insane. And with current bread prices in 2026, this machine can realistically pay for itself in around 48 days, depending on how often your family eats bread. That's one of the best ROI kitchen appliances we've tested all year. Best for families, budget-conscious buyers, first-time bread makers, people wanting maximum value. Downside, build quality isn't as premium as luxury models. Recipe experimentation may require trial and error. But honestly, for under $90, this thing absolutely dominates the budget bread maker category in 2026. So here's the final verdict. If you want the absolute best bread possible regardless of price, go with the Zojirushi. But if you actually care about value, savings, features, and real-world practicality, the Neretva 20-in-1 is easily the smartest bread maker you can buy this year. It delivers about 90% of the premium experience at a fraction of the price, and with today's grocery costs, it can genuinely save your family serious money over time. If you want to check current prices or read more reviews, I've linked all the bread makers down below. And if this video helped you out, make sure to hit subscribe because we test the best budget-friendly products that actually deserve your money instead of wasting it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.